Rice. I'm Congressman Tom Rice's wife, and I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. Tom's sorry he can't be here. He's in Washington and has votes tonight, so he's really disappointed he couldn't make it. But I just wanted to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. It's so important to come out and learn about the candidates. Your vote matters. Your representative matters. So thank you for being here. For some of you that might not know Tom grew up here. We've been married for 35 years. We have 3 grown sons that we raised here, and he ran his business as a tax lawyer and a CPA for 28 years before he retired. And after retiring, he served as chairman of Horry County Council, and then he's been congressman in Washington for a little over 5 years. And his big thing is American competitiveness. He wants to use conservative principles to advance American competitiveness and make America great again. And Tom is the first member from South Carolina to serve on the Ways and Means Committee. It's a very prestigious committee in Washington. He's the first one from South Carolina to serve on that committee since Carroll Campbell in the 1980s. And so he helped write the new Tax Cut and Jobs Act, and he really made a big difference trying to help small businesses in that. And it's the first overhaul of our tax code in over 30 years. So it's really a great, it's not perfect, but it's really a great bill. It's helping American companies, it's helping American workers, and helping American families succeed. Because of this bill, the average South Carolina resident should get to keep about $1,800 of the normal federal taxes that they would pay. So that puts more money in your pocket that you can spend on things you want to spend on instead of sending more of it to Washington. And plus, the average earnings are up almost 3% since last year, and the U.S. jobless rate is the lowest it's been in 17 years, which means millions more jobs for American workers. This year, our national GDP is projected to reach 3.3%, a stunning growth over Obama's 2% or less growth for his whole 8 years. And Tom has he's gone to Canada and Mexico. He's been really involved in the NAFTA negotiations, and he wants to make America the best place to do business in the world. So Tom is effective. He says infrastructure is opportunity, and he's played a large role in advancing major infrastructure projects in this area. He finally got us the permit for I-73 that's been held up for over 30 years. We have a permit for that. He secured $51 million for beach renourishment to protect one of our area's most valuable resources. He got $95 million for disaster relief for Horry and Marion counties due to flooding from Hurricane Matthew and Joaquin. And over 85 houses have been rebuilt so far, with many more to come. The Highway 31, Highway 701 widening, and International Drive are all getting ready to open because Tom got permits released from the Army Corps that have been held up for years. He helped start the Dillon Inland Port, which has already created 1,100 jobs in one of the poorest areas in our district and our state. Tom knows how to cut a deal, and he's delivering for our country and our district. He applies fiscally conservative principles to operating his offices and has sent back over $500,000 to the Treasury for running an efficient office. His office processes over 1,500 constituent cases each year since he took office. And Tom is accessible. For the congressmen and senators holding town halls, they rank them in numbers of how many town halls they've had. Out of 535 people, Tom is number 14 in the number of town halls he's held. So you can follow him on Facebook. You can sign up for his weekly emails. You can go to www.rice.house.gov, and you can also send him a message through that website. So we have a lot of positive things going on in the district. No doubt about it, Tom played a huge role in many of these good things that are coming our way. Tom works smart, he works hard, and he knows how to cut a deal, and he's delivering for you. I don't know of a single congressman that's accomplished as much as Tom has in his short time. So please support my husband, Tom Rice, on Tuesday, June 12th in the Republican primary so he can continue to help transform this district and make more opportunity for your children and your grandchildren. Again, thank you for taking time to be here tonight. God bless you and God bless America.
Hi, I'm Wrenzi Rice. Larry, I agree with you. There's a lot of things I don't like about what's changed in America over since I was a little girl, and I'm worried about the future of the country too. But anyway, I'm here today to speak to you on behalf of my husband, Congressman Tom Rice, and I wish he could be here. He'd love to be here with you, but he's in Washington. He has votes. He's up there 3 weeks out of the month, so he gets to come on maybe 1 week a month, and he works really hard, and he's doing a really great job for us. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today and learning about the candidates. Your votes matter. Your representatives matter. It's very important. For some of you that might not know Tom, he grew up here. We've been married for 35 years. We have 3 grown sons. We raised our sons here. He ran his business here as a tax lawyer and a CPA for 28 years. And after he retired, he said, I want to do something to help, to give back. So he served as chairman of Horry County Council for a couple of years, and then he ran for Congress when this new seat opened up. And he uses his background as a businessman to try to advance conservative principles that are going to restore American competitiveness and make America great again. We've lost so many jobs overseas, and I think a lot of our problem is just lack of good paying jobs and opportunities, and hasn't been getting any better. It's been getting worse. Tom's the first member from South Carolina to serve on the prestigious Ways and Means Committee. He's the first one since Carol Campbell in the 1980s. It is very hard to get on that committee, and Tom did it. Ways and Means is the most difficult committee to get on, and he's making a difference. He helped write this new tax code. It's the first overhaul of our tax code in 30 years. And this new law, although not perfect, it's helping American companies, American workers, and American families get ahead. Because of this bill, the average South Carolina resident should save about $1,800 on their federal taxes this year. That puts more money in your pockets and lets you choose how you're going to spend the money instead of sending it to Washington. Plus, the average earnings over the country are up almost 3% over last year, and the U.S. jobless rate is the lowest in 17 years. That means millions of more jobs for American workers, and it's going to get better from here. Our national GDP is projected to reach 3.3% this year, a stunning growth over Obama's dismal 2% or lower over his entire 8 years. Tom has also been involved in the rounds of the NAFTA negotiations. In our district, the NAFTA really hurt us, and so he's trying to do things to help America's interests. He wants to make America the best place in the world to do business again. Tom's effective. He says infrastructure is opportunity, and he's played a huge role in advancing major infrastructure projects that are going to benefit our region. And our district has been left behind for decades. Horry County used to be grouped in with Charleston, and we kind of got a few crumbs here and there, but nobody was really paying us a lot of attention. And same for Florence and Darlington and all the other districts and counties in our district. They're all a little piecemeal, and Tom's given them a lot of attention, and he's working really hard. This neglect that we've had, you can see that reflected in our wages and in our jobs in this area. I see so many of my children's friends and my children, they move away to get better jobs because it's hard to get a job here that pays you decent wages and gives you benefits and things like that. And so Tom finally got the permit for I-73 that has been held up for 30 years. That is just tremendous. I cannot say how big of an impact that is going to have one thing, and then Tom secured $51 million for bee tree nourishment for all the Grand Strand to help protect one of our area's most valuable resources. He got $95 million in disaster relief for Horry and Marion counties due to flooding from Hurricane Matthew and Joaquin. So far, 85 houses have been rebuilt and many more are underway. The Highway 31, Highway 707 widening, and International Drive are all getting ready to open because Tom got the permits released by the Army Corps that have been held up for years. These are all helping our area. And he helped start the Dillon Inland Port, which has already created 1,100 new jobs in one of the poorest areas of our district and state. This is the area Obama called the corridor of shame. Go look at the Dillon Inland Port. It's wonderful, and all that area is going to be transformed by that. Tom knows how to cut a deal. He's delivering for our country and our district. He applies his fiscally conservative principles to running his office. He's returned over $500,000 to the U.S. Treasury for running an efficient office. His office is processing constituent cases, over 1,500 cases every year, so he's helping people throughout the district. And he's accessible. They did a study on the number of town halls that congressmen and senators hold. Out of 535 congressmen and senators, Tom ranks number 14 in terms of how many town halls he's held since he's been elected. You can follow him on Facebook. You can sign up for his weekly emails at rice.house.gov. You can send him a message through that website. And I'd like to speak to the term limits. Tom's for term limits. He's signed on all kind of term limit bills, but he is not going to self-impose term limits. Even now, he is number 290 at the bottom of 435. He's in the bottom third after being there 5 years. And at 5 years, you're just starting to make the connections and be able to do the things that you could do to help your district. So anyway, so we have a lot of positive things going on in our district. No doubt about it, Tom's played a huge role in many of these good things coming your way. He's honest, he's smart, he works hard, and he's well respected in Washington among his peers. And I don't know of a single congressman that's accomplished as much as he has in such a short time. It is not easy to get things done in Washington, and he's doing it. So please support my husband in the primary on Tuesday, June 12th, so he can continue to help transform our district and make it a better place for you, your children,